Hey, hi Rahul. How are you?
Yeah, hi sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, as this will be the first session, so we'll give some time so that people will join and then we'll
Sorry,
continue. Yeah. As this will be the first session, so I'll give some time, like 5-10 minutes, so that
uh,
yeah, we'll
I'm
get
unable
started.
to hear you. Just give me 1 minute and let me
Okay.
change my network. Hello, I'm audible now. Yeah, hi sir. Good morning. I'm audible now.
Let's give a couple of more minutes before we start. Okay, so let's get started. I think I'm audible, right?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you. So hello all, a warm welcome to the OCI training by Unogeeks. And this is the first session for your batch. So let's start with the introduction. I'll start with my introduction. This is Hemant. I'm an OCI architect with 15 plus years of experience in top US-based consulting and product-based companies. I have specialized in Oracle Apps DBA for most of my career. And from last 6 plus years, I'm working as an Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Implementation Specialist. So mostly it'll be, I was doing the foundations and the architect designing and provisioning of various cloud services for various projects. So that's about my brief introduction. If you see by default when you join, you will be in mute. So please feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions. And also during the session, in between, we'll have some break where we will take up the questions if you have any. So please feel free to unmute yourself and start introducing yourself.
Hi Hemant, myself Mallikarjun, and I have 9+ years of experience. Majorly, I worked for the products of Oracle. It is like Fusion middleware products, so OSB, WebLogic, and OHS, and also IAS and all. It is kind of middleware, Fusion middleware admin. Like most of the applications are slowly moving to the cloud infrastructure. So yeah, I just want to learn the cloud, how the migration will be happening from the on-premises to like cloud. So that is my expectation for this course. And yeah, this is all about myself.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yeah.
Hemant?
Yeah, Rahul.
Yeah, my name is Rahul. Actually, I'm 5.5 years of experience as Oracle Apps DBA. Currently, I'm working for Veritas Technologies. It's a product-based company. We're located in Pune. So, as Mallikarjuna said, like most of the clients now adopting the cloud. So, just want to learn the cloud, how the migration happened from on-premises to cloud. And as a EBS DBA, just want to learn those provision and these things, especially.
Hey, thank you.
So, hi all, this is Deb. I am having 15 years of experience on the Oracle database. I would like to know for end-to-end infrastructure of the OCI. I'm already doing lots of migration of the various cloud, but want to know more from the infrastructure side. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Hemant. My name is Orace. I have around 10+ years experience in Oracle Identity and Access Management and different ERPs, Postgres and SailPoint. Morely implementation development and expectation like Oracle IDCS or Oracle Identity, Oracle Cloud Identity and Access Management.
Hey, thank you. All right. So let's start the session for today. Okay. So I'll start with a brief overview of cloud computing and its key advantages. Then we will dive into the specifics of OCI, starting with its definition and global footprint. Finally, we'll explore the various OCI services available along with the regions and the building blocks. So to start with, what is cloud computing? So in simple terms, if we see, cloud computing is nothing but it's allowing us to rent the IT infrastructure instead of buying it. So these days, the companies, instead of buying the infrastructure, new infrastructure, whenever they have their own on-premises data center. So if they have any outdated infrastructure and they have to move on to a new infrastructure, instead of buying a new infrastructure, they're simply going for cloud so that they don't have to invest more on the infrastructure and they can simply rent whatever they want on the cloud. So That's what, rather than investing heavily in databases, softwares, and hardwares, companies are simply opting their access their compute power via internet, or what we call as cloud, and pay as they go, like pay for what they use, and be very hassle free with all the other networking and other maintenance stuff which they have to do in their daily day-to-day life. So these cloud services are includes with the servers, storages, networking, software, analytics, and all the business intelligence required stuff. So whenever they are going to the cloud computing, so they have all these services, not only the required infrastructure, they have all the software, everything, whatever they want for the business needs, they get all the required services in cloud. So along with these services, they also get the speed, scalability, and flexibility that is most important for the business development requirements. So without the speed of the network, or without the scalability features, like whenever they want, they can increase their network resources, or the compute resources, or the CPUs, or whatever we say. So without that flexibility, there is no use of coming into the cloud, right? So they have all these features also available in the cloud. So these days, in any of the cloud, if you see, they have all these features, like they can scale up and scale down, and they are very flexible. So these are some of the key cloud service providers, like Amazon, which is AWS, and Oracle with OCI, and Microsoft Azure, and Google GCP. So what are the advantages of cloud computing? The 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 most important reasons why the customers are, I mean, the business are moving to the cloud instead of their traditional on-premises data centers is to eliminate the cost. One of the main feature is cost elimination. So in terms of their own data center, they have lots of things to manage, starting from the cooling of the data centers, and the resources which they have to maintain and keep on upgrading. And on top of that, the licensing for the products which they have to procure, and so on. Like there are so many things which they have to maintain in order to keep their data center up to date and secure enough. So to eliminate all these cost things, like the people are moving to the cloud, so that there will be a less headache for them to manage all these resources. At the same time, they don't have to worry about the product licensing and the other uh, add-on things, like the patching, if you see in some of the past environments which are partially maintained by the cloud providers itself, instead of them worrying about the maintenance of those services. Speed, one of the other important thing, like you can instantly provision, and you can instantly increase your resources. So suddenly, if you need, in a traditional environment, if you have to add a small 1 terabyte of disk, you have to first procure the disk, and it will take some time, and then you have to attach it to the servers. There is lots of activities involved if you just have to increase your storage in your on-prem data center. But here it is all very fast in cloud. You can instantly provision space for the development or any testing requirements, or to your production instances. So it's all very fast. And the other major advantage is globally scalable. So you can utilize the regions, like the multiple regions across different countries, like wherever you want, you can create you can take a region, and you can scale up your resources across the regions, like for disaster recovery or for any other high performance, high availability architecture kind of things. So that is available. Like if you have multiple regions, your customers, so you can expand to a different region as well. And then the productivity. So with all these features, you of course you will have better productivity, increased collaborations, and you have better performance. And also you can have customer isolations. So predictable performance is nothing but you have uh, a new generation high power computer processings like the CPUs or the RAM, and you have customer isolation as well. Like if you want a dedicated bare metal virtual machines or a dedicated Exadata machines for your workloads, so you can procure those bare metals which are dedicated to your customer. I mean, like the customer only, so that there is no other customers using in the same virtual machines or in the bare metal servers. So you can isolate your workloads in the cloud so that there is no other customer in the same tenancy, or I mean, not in the same tenancy, in the same server. So you have better performance and the better praise as well, and reliability. Cloud infrastructure is more reliable, like they are designed in a fault tolerant, and they are scalable, and all the services, most of the services are distributed across different systems, so that you'll have high available services around the clock. So what is Oracle Cloud Infrastructure? Oracle Cloud Infrastructure is a next cloud infrastructure which is designed with high performance and reliability. So as of now, it is globally available more than 30 cloud regions, and Oracle is rapidly building more new regions. So regions is nothing but it's a kind of data center where Oracle Cloud Infrastructure is being deployed, and they have all the networks and the required sources. OCI next gen architecture enables fast and on-demanding provision of over 65 cloud services. So in OCI, over these 30 cloud regions, they have more than 65 cloud services, which can be enabled on demand and whenever you want. Like it's very fast and it's very highly scalable and flexible. And OCI also provides easy migrations for enterprise applications like EBS and PeopleSoft to the cloud. So easy migration in the sense of they provide migration tools for various applications and database. Like if you have to migrate your Oracle database to OCI, they have their own tools which supports these migrations, like the ZDM or Oracle Golden Gate. So using these tools, you can easily migrate your on-prem database to the OCI. ZDM is nothing but zero downtime maintenance, migration. And similarly, for the database, what we have like ZDM or Golden Gate, for applications like EBS, we also have migration tools like Cloud Manager, EBS Cloud Manager, which helps us to migrate applications from on-premises to OCI. So using this tools, we can easily migrate our workloads from on-premises to OCI. So that is one of the other advantage which we have with OCI, where we can easily migrate our existing workloads. Like we have projects which we have moved like more than 100 terabytes or 20, 30 easily, like with minimum downtime because of all these tools which are available. And OCI provides hybrid architectures, like you can have some of your services running on your on-prem network or your private customer data centers, or you can also go with any other cloud vendor where you can have your some of your applications running on different services and a few of your services running on your OCI. So do you have any questions? Let me know, otherwise we'll move on. All right. So as on date, if you see OCI global footprint, it's across so many regions. So a region is nothing but, like if you say Dubai is a region, and you have another data center in UAE, which is Abu Dhabi. So this is a slightly old screenshot, but as on date, if you see, you have more regions which are available in OCI. Like if you see the amber color are more with the commercial data centers, which are used for the commercial business purposes, like for the customers who use their workloads for the commercial purpose. All these customers are placed in these kind of data centers, or we call it as region in OCI. And similarly, you have a government regions also. These are specifically for those workloads which are related to the government projects. So dedicated to only the government projects. These are not open for the customer businesses. And then you see the newly planned upcoming regions in the specific area, like you see the UAE 2, which is the upcoming. So this is already started, which is Abu Dhabi. And similarly, if you see Israel is upcoming planned commercial region, which will be coming soon, and so on. Like in Sweden or in France, there is one more region which they are planning. And also, if you want to see the latest up-to-date Oracle regions, what are the current available regions? So you can go to the Oracle Cloud Applications website and find it out, like what all the regions. Like, let me show you. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so if you go to the Oracle Cloud website, you can see all the data centers currently available regions and the services which are available in that particular region. Like you see in North America, what all the regions you have, like US East, Ashburn, and US Chicago, which is Midwest, US West, which is Phoenix, and so on. And in that particular region, what all the services which are available. Like if you go and have a look, like Oracle Application Performance Monitoring, whether it is available in this particular region or not. So based on that, you can decide like whether you have object storage service or whether you have the load balancing service in that particular region or not. So you can make it out like from this website and see what all the available services in that particular region, and based on that you can go and subscribe to those services and increase your service limit to use those services. So these are the various services which I've told, like there are 65 more services, more than 65 services which are available in OCI. And similarly, you can see the availability of those services also in different regions. Similarly, if you go to the Europe, you can see the different regions which are available in Europe, like UK, London, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, Paris, and so on. And in the same way, if we go to the Middle East, Africa, these are the regions which are available. And also like the government regions which are available, these are the ones. And what are the services available in those regions? You can have a look here. So that is more into the global footprinting as on date, what all the regions which OCI is having and operatable and serviceable. So every in OCI, every region has an availability domain. So what Oracle is doing is to increase the global reach quickly. What they are doing is, instead of starting with the multiple availability domains in one region, so they are starting with one availability domain, so that they will have the customers which, if they have, they can make use of those customers to move on to the OCI, so that at least with one availability domain, they'll have the business running in that particular region. Instead of so what is an availability domain, that we will see in the next slides. But each region, what they initially planned is to go with at least 2 availability domains or 3, and then move on to a new region. So instead of that, what they are doing is they are starting up with a single availability domain. And then once they launch that AD with one region, slowly they are scaling up with another availability domain in the same region. And they are also going with the 3 availability domains. So as of now, if you see some of the regions which are having only one availability domain, like Australia East, which is only having one AD, and similarly India, Mumbai, or Seoul, or or like Switzerland. And those regions which already have 3 availability domains are like Phoenix, Ashburn, and Frankfurt, London. These regions are already having 3 availability domains. So when we say a region is nothing but a particular country or a specific location in the country. And in that region, whenever we say an AD, it's an availability domain, which is nothing but a set of a group of infrastructure, including the servers, storages, network, a complete set of infrastructure. So when we say multiple ADs, so in particular in one region, like if you say in Ashburn, they have 3 ADs. So they have 3 set of different infrastructure sets in that particular region. So what that means is, if one particular set of AD goes down, they still have 2 different isolated set of infrastructure which is still up and running in that particular region, so that they have their services highly available in across these availability domains. And also when the customer is provisioning this door, I mean, their services in that availability domains in that particular region, they can go up in such a way that they are highly available across the ADs. Like even if there is something wrong in one particular availability domain, they can still have their services up and running in the other availability domain. So if we see in more detail, like the region, OCI is hosted in regions. That's what we have discussed just now, and the availability domains in that particular region. So if we take a country as a region and availability domain is one or more data centers located within that region. So we can take that AD as one data center in that particular region. So if you see here, this is an availability domain in that region, and you have another availability domain. So you can take this as a data center in that particular region. Region is nothing but the a geographical area or a country, what we are representing it as a region. So ADs offer predictable low latency and high speed encrypted interconnectivity. So they have a low latency and a high speed interconnectivity, which is also encrypted. So if you have your workloads in one AD, and I mean, like if you have your applications on scaled up in two different ADs, you will have the communication between these two servers in a high speed and low latency network. So you'll not see any difference, like any performance issues if you place across multiple ADs in that particular region. And these ADs are isolated from each other, and they are fully fault tolerant and very unlikely to fail simultaneously. So what does that mean is, if you have your application servers kept in two different or three different multiple availability domains, even if one AD goes down for some reasons, you'll still have your application up and running from the other two availability domains. So fault domain, so what we have is like, even in this particular AD, in each AD, you have three different fault domains. So in those regions where as of now you have only one AD, right? So in those regions, these fault domains are again very highly usable. Like these services, each and every availability domain internally has three fault domains. Fault domain is again a set of grouping of the infrastructure. Like we saw, like in AD, you have a set of a data center, what we called it as a data center, which is which we have said like an isolated set of resources. Similarly, fault domain is again isolated within this AD, which has a group of hardware, and again a fault domain is isolated within the other fault domains. Like we have three fault domains in each AD. So here, as you see, each region is having three availability domains. So the complete set of infrastructure is divided into three sets. Like even if one domain is going down, you still have two other domains available. In the same concept, they have also introduced three fault domains within each availability domain. So what they are making is a more secure and more highly available. Even within the availability domain, if some resource goes down in one fault domain, you will have, if you want to place your architecture in such a way that it is highly available in the data center, like you can place one application server on one fault domain and other application server in the other fault domain, in such a way that even if this fault domain goes down, you will have the application services running from this fault domain. So that is how you distribute your instances within the fault domains. And if your region is already having multiple availability domains, of course, if you are going with a high availability, you will distribute your application services across the different availability domains, so that you will have highly available applications and which are unlikely to fail simultaneously. So if you see the framework on a high level, inside the availability domains, you have the data centers as the base, which we call it as availability domains. And on top of the availability domains, inside the availability domains, you'll see the physical network. And over the physical network, you have the virtual network. And on top of those virtual networks, you have all the services or the resources which we call the bare metal GPUs and VM containers and the Exadata rack servers or the VMDB systems and so on. So these are the resources which are available in OCI, which are placed on top of the virtual network. So for the customers, when they have to choose their region. So what are the best practices they can go when they have to choose the region? Is they have to make sure that the location is the closest one. Like if your business operations are if you are doing operations in Dubai, obviously you will be choosing the region as Dubai, or if your business services you are operating it from Sharjah and you don't have a region or a data center in that particular location, so the closest one will be your Dubai or Abu Dhabi. Based on that, you will choose your region. And you will also make sure that it's as per your governance and the data compliances, like as per your data restrictions. Like if your data is restricted, so if your data residency requirements are like that, like you cannot keep your data in a different country. So based on those legal compliances, also you have to choose your data, I mean your region accordingly. Also the services like we saw in the website of OCI, where we saw earlier, like these are the services which are available in that particular region. So if that particular service is not, whatever the service you are looking for is not available in that region, obviously you have to choose a service, I mean a region where you have the required services available. So based on these conditions, you choose a region. So mostly most of the time it is your local region, or for your DR disaster, you can go with a different region where you can keep your data center, like for the disaster recovery site in a different region. Like it makes sense, like you keep your DR site in a different region. So instead of keeping it in the same region. So this slides shows you all the services available in OCI, all the core services which are currently available. If you see, starting with identity and access management, like identity and access management services are mostly used for the user access in OCI. And also, if you want to make your applications using a single sign-on, like if you have an EBS application and you want to make it as a single sign-on, so you can make use of these services like IDCS to enable the single sign-on on those particular services applications. And you have networking, where you'll see the VCN, VPNs, and the fast connect and the load balances. So you can create your own VCNs, and you can have your VPNs created in OCI. And you have different flavors of site-to-site VPN and fast connect VPNs, which are fast connect is nothing but a dedicated VPN line between customer and the OCI. And also you have load balancer services, which all come under the network services. And moving on, you have the compute services. Compute services like the bare metal and dedicated hosts. These are the compute services which are used for your hosting your applications, or if you are not going with the DBaaS service, you can install your database on a VM. You can install your BI applications or your ODI applications, all your applications in the VMs. And also with APIs and managed Kubernetes. And you have storage service, which offers a wide range of storage services like a local storage, which comes with the boot volumes and block volumes. And you have file service storage, which is called as FSS. And you have an object storage and an archival storage. So they have different storage services which they offer in current day, which are widely open to the customers based on their customer requirements. So if they want a low cost effective storage services, they can go with something like object storage. For their archival storage, they can go with something like archival object storage, which even further save cost for them. So it depends on their customer requirements. So based on that, there are different services which are available as part of the storage. And moving on to the database, you have bare metal and you have VMDB systems, you have RAG on premises or at customer service, and you have Exadata, same like Exadata cloud at customer and Exadata at cloud. So if you see, you have different services in database. You have bare metal offerings where you have a dedicated bare metal completely owned by the customer. Similarly, an Exadata, which is also you can completely own for your needs requirement. And you have similarly the VMDB system, which is slightly a lesser cost and also maintained by Oracle in the same way as XSES or the bare metal. And also you have active data guard support for all these database services from the console itself. So you don't need to set up those data guard environments manually. In the OCI, you have straight away available active data guard options, which is just a click and some of the information which you have to provide to create the data guard. And you have the fully automated database, which is autonomous database, like a data warehouse and transaction processing, ADW and ATP. This is only a database offering in OCI, which is fully autonomous database. And then you have some serverless services like functions, and you have some log API calls. I mean, like if you say serverless functions, like OCI offers computing options with its function services, like the services which they have like for the functions. So functions is nothing but it allows developers to run their code in a serverless environments. So without having to provision or manage a server, so they can use this function services, and which are like event driven and can be triggered by various sources such as HTTP requests or some storage events or some streaming services. So functions like supports multiple programming languages, which includes Node.js and Python, Java, and provides a flexible programming model, allowing developers to choose between writing a stateless or stateful functions. So it is again a different chapter which we will discuss further. And then moving on to the analytics, you have software NAS gateway and data transfer appliances. So when we say NAS nothing but network attached storage. It's a service provided by OCI. It enables the business to store and manage their unstructured data in cloud. So if they have some unstructured data, they can go with this NAS gateway, and using these streaming services features, they can go with this, use this service and make use of those data which they have to store in the OCI. And similarly, you have data transfer appliances. Transfer appliances is nothing but if a customer wants to securely transfer large amount of data to OCI, like if he wants to migrate from his on-premises data center to OCI. So in that scenario, they can use this service, which is called OCI Data Transfer Service, where OCI provides a physical device to the business, which they can order, and that will be shipped to their data center. So it's kind of a USB, which is shipped to the data center, and once they have this device, what they can do is from their on-prem data center, they can move their data to this particular device, and this device will be handed over to the OCI, who are the engineer, and they will be taking this data to their data center and upload it to their storage devices wherever they have to upload, whether it is an object storage or a block storage. So they will be doing this data transfer using this data transfer appliances. So this is mostly used if you have a data transfer. You have to do a data transfer which is more than some multiple terabytes, and you don't have enough bandwidth to do that. And if you are transferring the data in a low bandwidth area, and you know that it will take more than a week, or and you don't have to wait that long. So in those scenarios, you can make use of this service and move your data faster to the OCI. And you have network, the next layer service, which is like monitoring and logging, auditing. So in this layer of services, you have the monitoring services, like for all the services which the most of the services which are available in OCI, you have the metrics like the CPU monitoring, and you have the storage monitoring for storage services, like what is the IO, or what is the throughput, and what is the networking latency, what is the CPU performance, how much the CPU threshold is being reached. All those monitoring layers you have in this particular service. And similarly, you also have logging service, where you can enable your a logging service to your resources, and to see what are the different, if you have your auditing requirements based on your auditing or based on your compliances, you can enable logging on your services and make use of those logs for your audit purpose. And under the security services, you have Key Vault, Audit Vault. You can make use of, and you can make use of the key management, like the OCI provided keys or your own provided keys, and you can provide with your centralized control of encryption, doing the encryption of your data. You can make use of this key management service and create the encrypted keys and rotate the keys. And you can also generate new keys as per your requirement in this using these key vaults and the audit vaults. And then you have the data movement. I think this is almost the same service which we have talked here, which is the NAS gateway and the data transfers gateway. And finally, you have the edge services like the DNS and the other edge services like email. DNS is nothing but the dynamic network service for your host name details. Like if you have any DNS record, you have to maintain the application host name. You can use this service like DHCP services, which are available for your simple use case, and so on. And then you have the email services like these services are used for the users to allow and send the emails to your email IDs. Like if you have your services running in OCI and you want to enable monitoring notification, like if you have database and you have daily backups for the database, and you want to get an email alert to that particular activity, like if you have a database backup running every day, and you want to know whether this database is the backup is completed successfully or not. So you can enable this monitoring notification service. Using this notification service, you can enable uh, the notification for that particular event. Like if you have a completed status or a failed status, send a notification email to this particular email address. And not only to that kind of notifications. So this service is also used for all the communications between the OCI and the customer, like the moment if there is a new account created, so they have to get an email like with the details of the account, and for any password resets or for any marketing campaigns. So for all these notifications, these email services are being used. Like if they have something like they have reached this particular limit in the OCI, and they have some detailed analytics they have to use, and so on. So these are the various services which we saw in a high level now, which are available in OCI, but which we will go in detail when we discuss in each session about each and every service. So on a high level, these are the main core services which are in the offerings from OCI. In all those regions which we have discussed earlier here. And yeah, and coming to the identity, this is the starting service. Whenever you start your tenancy, you get all your users and on the accounts created and then moving on. I mean, even in the class the sessions, what we will see is starting with the identity. In the first session, we'll create where we will create a users, and then we will create the required networking layer using the VCNs, and then we will move on with creating the services. So in our sessions, mostly what we will do is we will be doing more on the lab sessions. We will be seeing how to create these services, how to set up these network layers, and how to install these, provision these compute services or the database services in a more practical way than the theoretical way. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we are done with this introduction session.
Yeah, Hemant, this is Bharat. Actually, I have one question. Should I call you later on, or you can give me your number so that we can discuss one-to-one? Actually, I want to know more regarding OCI. That's why I want some more clarification. If you feel comfortable, you can let me know.
Yeah, as you can see the number on the screen right now, so you can call to this number if you have any queries. You can discuss onto
Right,
this with this number. So you can note this number.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Hi, Hemant.
Yeah.
Hemant, all the core services we are going to get it into in depth, right? Means
Yeah.
as a practical.
Yes.
And beside then theoretical, it's most rely on practical side, right?
Correct. So so mostly the more part than the theoretical, we will spend more time on the OCI tenancy itself. When I say tenancy, it's the thing about the account, what we have the logging into the console. That we will in tomorrow session. Anyhow, I'll be giving you an overview on the console. So most of the time you will see the console and provisioning and practical in the lab, how we migrate the database or how we provision the database if we are talking about the database. Similarly, we will also see how we migrate application also using a cloud manager. As an example, like in this session, we are going with an EBS application or and then we see how we have to do a migration in a real-time scenario. We will mostly discuss on a real-time use cases more than the theoretical part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and
That
like
will be the most. Yeah.
we also like practical from our end, right? So any like any subscription or what how we are going?
Yeah. What we suggest is you to create your own cloud account, which is free available for all the users, and there are free resources services available in OCI, which you can make use of it like for the lab sessions. And you can have your own hands-on and practice those services deployments and creating the network resources and creating the required infrastructure. All those things, what we are doing in the lab, most of the things you'll be able to do in your own tenancy. And tomorrow we'll see how to create a OCI tenancy, and we will see how to create your own free tenancy. I'll show you how to create it. And similarly, you will do that, and you will practice simultaneously what we will do here in the lab in the session. The same thing you can do it in your own tenancy, and get familiar with the console and all the services as well at the same time.
Okay, and like which certification covers this whole our training
Yeah, this
from cloud?
is yeah, Oracle Associate Cloud Infrastructure Associate. It will cover all the part of that, and as well as the professional. It covers, of course, it covers the foundation services and then the architect and the few of the professional.
Okay, yeah.
So you should be able to give the certification like OCI architect for sure after this complete course.
Yeah, because OCI is like unknown to me current
Okay.
still. Like I'm
Okay.
in industry from 5.5 years. I didn't get any environment like.
Okay.
So
No worries. We'll be going from the scratch. Like even if you are not familiar with OCI, that doesn't matter. Like you know the terminology. There is a slight different change in what we are calling here than the traditional thing. Some of the services which we call like here we instead of a data center we are saying it is an availability domain, and there are some few things are different, but other than that it is again once you have all the services in place, you will see the same servers and the same applications on top of that which are running, and the only thing is you should be able to know the flow here, how it is flowing, like the complete architecture wise or the network wise, which is more key important. Where in a traditional on premises, you have your own networking department or your own firewall department, all those things, right?
okay, and last question. Can you just give highlight on migration part, like what we are going to learn, and is it a practical one or like how?
Yeah, it will be a practical one. We will discuss about a very a useful use case, which is called a cloud backup service, which is available in OCI. It is a OCI backup module, which is a tool. I will be explaining you how to install that tool and how to make use of that tool to transfer your data from your on-prem to object storage in OCI. So that is one thing on the migration part, and I'll be explaining you the scenarios like the use cases in the regular projects, like what customers are doing and how the the Oracle is migrating the services, I mean, like the database, mostly on the database part. And we will also discuss on one of the other tool for the application, which is EBS Cloud Manager. So I'll be again giving you the complete lab session for that, how to install it. Not theoretically, it will be all practical. Whatever I'm saying so far is all practical thing, which we will be doing. How to install those cloud managers, and using cloud managers, how you will take a backup of your application, and how you provision a new environment using the cloud manager. So all these things will cover up both the database and application part on a real-time scenario on how you will be migrating your applications, which is the key thing and the most important part, which the current scenario is and the current requirement is. As you see, the most of the customers are already moved and they are moving to OCI or in or let's say in a different uh, data center, or I mean, sorry, a different provider. So migration is the key thing as on date. So yeah, definitely we'll be going through the migration part a lot more than the required things.
Yeah. Thank you, Hemant, for giving the details.
Yeah.
Hemant, this is OIM, like the DR and other stuff. Like, is it going to be that thing, right? Rather than just building the services.
OIM, no, it's like building the services, and then DR part, I'll be showing you how to create a data guard services or a disaster recovery site altogether. But the integration part, can you just give me an example, like what exactly you're looking for?
Like building the services, is that separate to this, or?
No, building the services is already there, right? Like when we provision the instances, and then we will see how to install the applications on top of the services, and we'll see how to deploy your database services in the OCI.
Okay, right. Thank
So
you.
yeah, so once we have the foundation layer, like when I say the foundation layer is the virtual network setup or the user creations are done. So after that, you still have to provision your virtual machines, and we will talk about the how to install the virtual machines and how you will attach the block volumes to the virtual machines, and how to detach them, how to maintain the block volumes, like how you take the backups of that, the regular maintenance of the server. So virtual machine, if you take it as a normal server, like a Red Hat server in an on-prem. So if you have a server in OCI, so how you will maintain it, how you have to reboot the server, how you will be going to patch the server, how you will attach a network storage, if you, I mean, a software uh, installation on top of this, or if you have to take backups of the data in this server. So all those things we will see in practical when we provision these services. And similarly, the database services, how you have to provision the service in OCI, and how you take the backups in OCI, and how you start, restart, stop, reboot, or how you clone the database in OCI, and similarly how you do a DR, how you create a DR for this database service which you have provisioned in OCI. So all those things, like we will see in practical, like if you have two application servers, you have configured with two applications running on these two servers. On top of that, how you will provision a load balancer, and how you configure the applications behind the load balancer. So those kind of stuff we'll be seeing in this course. So I hope it answered your question, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Hi, Hemant. What is the prerequisites to understand more? Like, is there any prerequisites to know before starting the course?
If you are familiar with the DBA part, that will be more useful for you when we are talking on the database migrations or the database provisioning part. But other than that, even if you are not having any background, you can
Okay.
you can have this course. Like, it doesn't really need to have a background of this, because if you are just provisioning the database, you are not really working as a database administrator also. So even then, if you don't have a background of EBS or a database, you can still be working as an infrastructure guy in OCI, where you have to deal with all the provisioning stuff or all the networking foundation layer. So this is in a way, if I have to say, you don't really need a background.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah. But yes, if you have some background, like if you already have a networking background, or if you have if you are a traditional on-prem infrastructure guy or a DBA, you will be having a better understanding. That's for sure. Like it will be more easy for you to build on your things. But even if you don't have, I don't think those things are really required for you to get on with this particular OCA stuff.
Sure, yeah, got it.
As we say, we are starting with the scratch. Like we will be discussing from the tenancy level how the account is getting created, and then we will be seeing how the users are getting created, and then from a entirely blank, I mean empty account, we will be seeing the complete layer, how the layers are coming into the picture, right? So even if you have no background, I think it doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, someone saying.
Multi-cloud also, we are going to see anything regarding?
We are not seeing anything on multi-cloud. As of now, if you see, OCI is having Microsoft Azure as a partner. So
Yeah.
we can have a small discussion on what is the offerings with the multi-cloud in the current day scenario. Like what all the how the multi-cloud has the connectivity between the OCI and the Microsoft Azure, but not more than that.
And also most of the companies asking for the cloud DBA role. So like we can, after this course, we can say like, right, we have a cloud DBA experience after this course when we done.
Yeah. DBA, like the pure DBA is something different. Like you are managing your database, day-to-day database stuff, right? Like where you will be checking your table spaces or that kind of stuff. But here we will be discussing about database provisioning, cloning of the database, and we will be discussing about the patching. So few things are still there in a pure DBA related stuff, which you have to take care. But most of the things are covered as part of your DBA in OCI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even though in OCI, like if you have a PaaS service, like say if you are going with a VMDB system. So in this scenario, that is fine. Like you can manage your database. You can call yourself as a DBA, because patching is automated. All you have to do is from the console, you have to do the patching. From the console, you will be doing a restart or start stop, or you'll be doing the cloning from the console. So in a way, you can say that you are a cloud DBA. But if your database is not running on a VMDB system, and your database is running on a virtual machine, It's like a compute instance. So in that scenario, you need to have a bit more understanding on the normal database stuff.
Got it. And everyday sessions, recording sessions we get, right? If you missed any of the...
You'll be getting all the recording sessions, and you will also be getting the PPTs and any lab session, what we are doing, any notes which we are using that session. I mean, those things are also will be shared with you.
Okay. Thanks, Hemant. Yeah.
So it's going to be a 1-hour class, right?
Yes.
And how long do you think would be the duration of the course?
This will be around 6 to 7 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. Most of the things, I mean, like it's on the pace how we cover, but yeah, max 7 weeks we should be able to cover this complete course. So we will go through the walkthrough of the course tomorrow, and we'll have a walkthrough on the console, on the OCI console. So you'll have more understanding on what exactly we are going to cover in this course tomorrow. And we will also see the high level of the OCI tomorrow, and we will also see how to create a free account in OCI. So with all those things, most of your questions will be answered. Okay, then I think we are good. So see you all tomorrow. We will catch up tomorrow with more details on the course. What all in depth, like what is the course covered, and then we will see how to create the tenancy and a walkthrough on the console. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.